Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down those subtle, everyday habits that are frankly keeping you stuck paying someone else's mortgage forever. Look, we all know rent is a massive expense, right? But what if the way you're renting is actually the very thing keeping you poor? Well, let's dive into the data and find out.
50%. If you're spending half of your income on rent, you are officially what the industry calls house poor. And the tragic irony here, you're house poor without actually, owning a house. Think about it. When half of your paycheck instantly vanishes straight into your landlord's bank account every single month, there's just zero mathematical room left for you to save, invest, or build your own wealth. It's a trap.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the luxury lifestyle trap, the cost of complacency, the financial desperation cycle, ignoring your tenant rights, and finally, the good stuff, escaping rental poverty. Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the luxury lifestyle trap, or paying for illusions.
Now, we all want in-unit laundry. I completely get it. But landlords know this, and they charge a massive premium for that convenience. I mean, just think about the math here. The difference between a $300 monthly premium for a washer and dryer right in your unit versus maybe a $20 trip to the local laundromat is absolutely staggering. You are essentially paying thousands of dollars a year purely to avoid a mild inconvenience.
And unfortunately, the leakage doesn't stop with laundry. Your bank account is probably constantly draining through things like unused building amenities, rooftops, gyms, and pools that you never actually visit. Or maybe you're paying a $200 a month parking fee when you don't even own a car. How crazy is that? Then there's the $50 in pet rent for a dog that, let's be real, does not care at all if your apartment has granite countertops. Or maybe you're renting a 2-bedroom place when you only need one, which basically turns that second bedroom into incredibly expensive storage space. But perhaps the biggest illusion of the whole shebang? Paying a massive $1,000 premium just to live in a trendy zip code. Because remember, your bank account really doesn't care how cool your neighborhood is.
Moving right along to Section 2, the cost of complacency or accepting the status quo.
Here's a little secret. Landlords actually expect you to negotiate. Yet so many of us just blindly accept a $200 rent increase without saying a single word. We just renew the lease without shopping around the neighborhood or even checking what new tenants in our very own building are paying. And get this, often new tenants are paying less than you are, simply because you didn't check. But this complacency, it also shows up in your utility bills. You might be ignoring drafty windows where your expensive heat and AC are literally just escaping outside. Or blasting the heat at 75 degrees in the winter, the AC at 65 in the summer, leaving lights on all day long. That's wasting $50 a month for absolutely nothing. By doing this, you're literally leaving money right on the table every single day.
All right, Section 3, the financial desperation cycle, digging the hole deeper.
This one usually starts with a bit of a breakdown in priorities. Like, rent is $2,000, but you end up spending $500 eating out. Or you buy a new bag, some new sneakers, maybe a new phone, and then rent day arrives. Panic sets in, and you make an incredibly dangerous move. You pay your rent with a credit card. Guys, financing your basic shelter at a 25% interest rate, that is financial quicksand. You are literally paying interest on the roof over your head.
And it gets worse. If you can't use a credit card and resort to a payday loan instead, the cascading math is absolutely terrifying. Let's say you have a $1,500 rent payment. If you finance that through a payday loan with a 400% APR, that turns into a crushing $6,000 payout. Think about that for a second. You are paying $6,000 for just one single month of shelter. This right here is exactly how the cycle locks you in, because once you take that loan, you'll likely never catch up. And this desperation cycle, it's usually compounded by a few other toxic habits. You might start burning bridges by constantly borrowing rent money, first month, second month, until your friends just flat out stop answering your texts. Or maybe you pay your landlord in cash with absolutely no paper trail, which means if they suddenly lose it, guess what? You have to pay twice. You skip building an emergency fund, meaning one single eviction notice could literally leave you homeless. And because you have zero savings for a new first and last month's rent, well, even if you wanted to pack up and move to a cheaper place, you just can't. You are completely 100% trapped.
Which brings us to Section 4, ignoring your tenant rights and accepting unacceptable conditions.
So here's the thing. The law is often actually on your side, but you have to know it exists. So many renters just suffer silently simply because they lack basic knowledge about things like rent control. A lot of cities have specific laws that cap rent increases to protect tenants from price gouging. But if you don't know your local laws, your landlord can, and honestly often will, take advantage of that to illegally hike your rent. And this lack of awareness, it goes way beyond just the rent price. We're talking about signing a lease blind to hidden fees or sneaky maintenance clauses. It's skipping a crucial, $15 a month renter's insurance policy, meaning a single fire or flood could literally ruin you financially. But most shockingly, it's passively staying with abusive landlords who just refuse to fix the heat or hot water. It's accepting mold in the walls that ends up causing massive hospital bills, or living with roaches and bedbugs while still paying full price. Some people even knowingly live in illegal apartments with zero fire escapes just because it's cheap, which is literally risking your life. And despite free legal aid existing or the ability to form tenant unions with your neighbors, most people just never ask for help. Guys, ignoring your rights directly threatens your wallet, your health, and quite frankly, your life.
All right, let's pivot to the good news. Section 5, escaping rental poverty and becoming an active planner.
Escaping this entire cycle absolutely has to start with some real estate education. Now, you might believe the old myth that renting is just throwing money away, or on the flip side, that buying a house ties you down forever. But if you think like that, you're missing out on incredible strategies like house hacking. Now, if you haven't heard of this, it's a brilliant concept. Basically, you buy a multi-unit property, like a duplex. You live in one side and you rent out the other. Your tenant's rent effectively wipes out your own living expenses. It allows you to basically live for free while you're building equity. Now, that is the kind of active planning that changes your financial trajectory entirely.
So to actually make that transition from a renter to an owner, you've got to follow a few actionable steps. First up, you have to stop ignoring a low credit score. Mortgages require good credit, so you need to actively work on improving it. Second, establish a strict down payment savings plan. Because let's face it, if you want a house but you're saving $0 a month, the math just isn't going to work. Third, get out there and research first-time homebuyer grants and programs. Actual free money and assistance do exist, but you have to actively look for them. And fourth, and this is crucial, actually sit down and compare current mortgage rates to your rent. You might be completely shocked to find out that a mortgage payment in your area could actually be lower than what you're handing over to your landlord right this second.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Housing is, and honestly probably always will be, your single biggest expense in life. And you have a choice here. Will you take control, educate yourself, and fix your housing situation? Or are you going to stay stuck repeating these same daily habits and spend the rest of your life paying for someone else's future? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. I highly encourage you to go take a look at your current lease, check your daily habits, and start planning your escape today.